The internet has created the perfect environment for scams to proliferate. From the AI scamming your grandmother out of her life savings to the explosion of sketchy products that we see for sale everywhere online. And the problem is, it's only going to get worse. A huge thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring today's video. So if you've been following our channel for a while, you might have noticed that we use the word scam a lot when we're titling and thumbnailing our videos. It has become a bit of a joke between us and the editors and the writers, and there is a reason for it. The truth is that there is just a lot of scammy stuff out there now. And also, people seem to click on videos when we put that in the title and the thumbnail over other words. So if it worked this time around, buckle up because we have a doozy of a video to get into. In this video, we wanted to explore why there are just so many shady and deceitful and scammy products out there today, and what that spectrum of scams can look like and how you can avoid them. So on the one hand, yes, we have a rise in online and telephone scammers using technology to more convincingly swindle people out of their money. But Tim Nicholas has already made an entire documentary on that subject. So today we're going to be talking about the other end of the spectrum, these more kind of subtle scams that have just become normalized. I'm talking about the Shein clothes that disintegrate after a single wash, terrible knockoffs that don't even work, and falsely advertised products that don't actually do what they're supposed to do, and in some case may even pose a risk to the people buying them.
This is Health Canada's limit for lead in children's products. Our little red purse is 5 times more than that limit.
And the thing is, if you follow our content or you are just a critically thinking person, you might get the impression that these scams are more common than ever. And that's because you would be right. Now, I don't want to sound like an old man here, but gosh darn it, it's that bloody internet that's the problem. Why do I sound so decrepit and vaguely British? Our internet dependency has impacted us in 2 ways that have sort of created a feedback loop that has led us to the point where scams are just kind of like normal business nowadays. First, the internet has boomed and information has become everywhere. But also, misinformation and disinformation, and there is a key difference between these two things. Misinformation is just false or inaccurate information. You're getting something wrong. Disinformation is false information which is deliberately intended to mislead. So while we can now get answers to almost anything nowadays, like how much does grass grow in a day, the answer is 1/5 of an inch or 1/2 centimeter for everyone who is an American. We also have companies and politicians and internet personalities pumping disinformation into this internet echo chamber for their own benefit. Which is why when people today see companies promoting something that the latest science has deemed to be essential to human health, they don't stop and think, wait, what the hell does that even mean?
I say, hold up, wait a minute, something ain't right.
They just buy the product that is being advertised as a solution without even thinking about it. We've actually already made a whole video about athletic greens already, and we are not saying that green powders don't enrich your gut microbiome, but I'm willing to bet that most people don't even know what a gut microbiome is. And I'm willing to bet that they also don't know that a controlled study conducted by the company in question with only 30 individuals at the peak of their health over a 1-month basis is not really an unbiased or scientifically robust way of finding information about something. Then we combine this with the fact that we have not been taught how to interpret all this information and make sense of the mess of online content that we're being fed on a daily basis. Media literacy online is at an all-time low, even for the generations of people who have been raised with it. And then we have, on top of that, the insanely clever marketing and manipulation tactics of some of the most powerful companies in the world trying to sell stuff to emotionally exhausted and desperate people, and you have just a perfect cocktail for scams to proliferate. And the thing is, if you spend a lot of time online, it probably means that you've already opened yourself up to some of these scams and to data brokers. Data brokers collect a huge amount of personal data from tons of people all over the internet, and they make a profit selling it to anyone who will pay their fee. You can technically spend the hours required to scour the internet to retrieve your personal information from hundreds of different sites, or you can let Delete Me, the sponsor of today's video, do that work for you. They've got international plans, so Canadians like us are covered. And did you know that when somebody buys your data, they can actually see information about your relatives too? I know that I personally feel better knowing that they offer family plans so that me and the rest of my family are a little bit more protected. You can get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/future20 and use code future20 at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/future20, code future20. So what do these scams look like today? Well, they are colorful, vibrant, and all over the place. If you were ever bored or looking for a side hustle, you can find a comprehensive list of scams on Wikipedia, and a lot of us are probably proud to say that we don't fall for the sort of snake oil salesman scams that we think of when we say scam. But I hate to say it, you've probably already been taken advantage of, because I'm guilty of it too. I bought this leather working kit off of Amazon because I thought I was gonna be a great husband and repair my wife's leather bag for her birthday. I read all the reviews, I compared all the products, and I bought what I thought was going to work the best, and it has failed to repair a single thing. The truth of the matter is, the components inside of this kit are cheap and very low quality. Because the thing is, it's incredibly easy to look legit online. Today, basically anyone with a pulse can launch a product and set up a drop shipping site in minutes. Places like Etsy and Amazon and of course Temu are flooded with these drop shippers just trying to lure shoppers into buying a 5-pack of funny naked Switch stickers for a few bucks. My favorite part is this review where the guy says it didn't arrive for 5 weeks, but he still gave it 2 stars for good measure. And maybe this is kind of an obvious example, but the thing is, it's become really common for companies to utilize the internet as a staging ground to mislead and project legitimacy. A Forbes article put it nicely. Shady vendors used to be easy to spot. They had poor design, shoddy features, and questionable product photos. Shopify offers a quick and easy way for legitimate vendors and scammers alike to create beautiful, sophisticated online shopping platforms in a relatively short period of time. Now, to be clear, we have worked with Shopify in the past and we love their service and we think that they are a great tool for people who want to launch their business online. But the same reality is that bad actors are also going to benefit from these services. And this is the difference between online and IRL experiences, right? If you walk into a store, you could look at the naked Switch sticker thing and see that it's just an obviously bad product and not buy them. But online, you've ordered this stupid thing and now it's arrived at your house and you've already paid for it and it's 5 weeks late already. Are you gonna send it back? Probably not. And now you've just been scammed. But the crazy part is that most people just think this is normal now. The bar has become so low for online shopping that we've become accustomed to low quality, poorly made crap that we're just expected to throw out after buying. And that is not entirely a failure on us, especially for many of us born into thinking that this is normal. A lot of Gen Zs don't know of an era where things have been built well. Everything that we consume today, from the furniture that we sit on to the food that we eat, has been engineered to function only as long as it has to in order to ensure a sale. Older generations had a much more tangible connection to the things that they owned because in many cases, it was all that they had. The responsibility that each person had for the things that they owned and the products that they sold if they were a business were just held to a higher standard. The phrase, "they don't make them like they used to," is very literally true nowadays. But sadly, for most people, they don't even know what that means. So on one hand, many of us are sort of disconnected from what a good product experience truly is, but we've also kind of lost our street smarts too. Consumers have gotten more desperate to win the lottery, so to speak. This is just the basic FOMO feeling that shoppers get when they find a great deal. This combined with the ever-present shopping culture presented on social media, and you can see why so many people fall victim to these kinds of things. And there is just so many other tools working against us. We've made a whole video about celebrity products, which you should go and watch if you haven't already. And honestly, if you like this kind of breakdown and these sort of explainer videos where we discuss our consumer world, I suggest that you subscribe to our channel because we release videos every single week. And if you want to support this channel and what we do, we have a Patreon page as well. Unlike this channel, most influencers don't really care that much about the products or the brands that they promote to their audience. But these parasocial relationships are having a bigger and bigger part in why we buy stuff today. And in a lot of ways, it just makes sense, right? Like if we can't hold the product in our hands to know what it feels like for sure, and we have no real experience with high quality products for reference, the last thing that we have is word of mouth. But the problem is, that's been fractured by the internet too. We don't have role models and community leaders of the past to help us make these kinds of decisions, so we're looking to the leaders and the role models of today, which are largely elected by the court of public opinion through followers and views. And the reality is, many of these thought leaders or influencers don't have the life experience to advise you on what products you should buy, or the true human connection to make sure that your well-being is being prioritized. In fact, parasocial relationships have a direct connection with impulse buying tendencies. And the thing is, there isn't a really solid system to make sure that influencers disclose their brand connections. And I think about this all the time. Imagine what it would be like to be raised or grow up as a teenager in this kind of environment. Look, I was a teenager in the 90s and I was corrupted by, I guess, MTV, you know? But today we have kids who won't listen to their parents, and so they're listening to YouTubers who are selling them anything from clothes to overpriced sports drinks with a literally illegal amount of caffeine in them. We've also made a couple of Prime videos if you haven't seen those either. So with kids in the crosshairs here, where does this go into the future? Well, let's do some speculating, shall we? What we've already seen is that the advertising and marketing industry has had to ramp up their tactics to fight through the noise of online content today. Celebrity products, classic reboots, and limited releases are only going to become more and more and more the norm. Anything that a brand can do to make the purchase feel special or unique or fleeting in order to get people to buy with as little thought as possible. As people become more and more disheartened with the consumer landscape of today, which I think our channel is a bit of a testament to, I think we're going to see a return to in-person shops and retailers who offer an experience or a connection to a community, and even, maybe, dare I say it, products that don't suck. This might not feel like the case because our news and social media is obsessed with the giant and terrifying advancements of our material culture. And listen, I know that our channel is an example of that too, but there is a growing movement of people rejecting mindless consumerism. A new appreciation for mid-century modern furniture is showing people that a table can be an heirloom. Vintage clothes that are still holding up today are showing people that clothes can be made differently. And run clubs and other social meetups are getting people off of their phones and back into their communities to connect with people instead of influencers. The hard part here is that on this channel, we tend to package our videos in a negative way. We are sadly a part of this monster, and we would love to create positive videos about all the great stuff that's going on in the world, but one, it does not perform on the platform. And this is how we support a whole team of people who make this content, so that's not possible. And two, the positive stuff is kind of localized to wherever it is that you live. Most real positive progressive change is happening on the small scale with people and individuals and communities who are pushing for their own versions of the world that they want to see. Business owners doing things the old-fashioned way. People starting clubs and making connections because they feel like they should. And that's sadly not going to get a bunch of views on YouTube. So knowing that this wouldn't be a huge success, but might be a force for positivity, we would like your help. If you know of a business or a story that is positively contributing to the world that we're trying to foster here, please leave them down in the comments below or post it on our Reddit community. This way, we can all share some positivity and some stories that uplift us a little bit, and maybe at some point down the road, we will be able to make a video that's actually positive and lighthearted in the title and the thumbnail. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you want to see more content like this, make sure that you subscribe, and we will be here next week for another upload.